Jitu, are you there? Yeah, okay. So let us see how the Prim's algorithm works. So here also step 1 is same. Step 1 is you write the vertices. Step 1 is take the vertices as it is. Vertices as it is. Okay, then okay, let me take that vertices quickly. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, then after that, your next step is you take first minimum edge, straightforward. What is the minimum edge here? What is the minimum edge here? Can anyone respond? A. So you take first the minimum edge, that is A, put 1. So this is step 1. Maybe first stage we add. Then next what we do is we consider only these two vertices, A, comma E. Observe, listen carefully. Now once I add a first edge, the vertices that are coming to the picture are A, comma E, right? So now you just list out what are the edges corresponding to this A, comma E. Can anybody tell me what are the edges corresponding to A, comma E? You have to list all here. So what are the edges corresponding to A? Let me list. With respect to A, AB is one edge whose cost is 3. Then we have AD whose cost is 7, right? And AE just now we are taken. Then with respect to E, we have EB cost 6. Then E has degree 4, right? So yeah. Then EF cost 8 and ED cost 11. Now observe carefully, all of you listen carefully. Now these are the edges corresponding to these two vertices. Why I consider only A and E? First, in the step 1, I have taken minimum edge. Okay. Jitu, please admit them immediately once they are waiting. Be active, Jitu. Okay. So I initially I have taken the minimum edge is AE. Okay. And the corresponding to AE, the vertices are A, comma E. Then with respect to A and E, I considered all the edges. So these are the edges. Okay. Then in that you take the minimum. What is the minimum one? What is the minimum out of these listed edges?
AB.
What is that? AB, right? So you take AB. Take AB. Okay, AB edge is 3. Now our set of vertices are increasing now. Now we have to consider A, you have to consider E, you have to consider B also. Now these are the vertices under consideration. Now you consider all the edges corresponding to these 3 vertices. Okay. Anyhow, here we picked already AB, right? So therefore the leftover will be as it is. AD will be 7, EB will be 6, EF will be 8, ED will be 11. Now with respect to B, tell me what are the edges we can add with respect to B?
BF 4.
Yeah, BF it is 4. Any other edge is missed?
BC.
BC. BC, BC cost is 10. Then any other edge? BA already there. BE is already listed, right? So anyhow, so out of these three vertices, when I collect the edges, so these many edges I got. And in this, what is the minimum one?
BF.
BF.
BF. So therefore, you take BF. Now our vertex set is increased. Now the vertices that you have to consider are, what are the vertices? Tell me. A, E, B. Now just now F is added. So now again you list the edges corresponding to these four vertices. Okay. Anyhow, out of this earlier list, we considered already BF, right? So what are the leftover? Let me list. AD is 7. Once again, I'm just listing from the list. EB is 6, EF is 8, ED is 11, BC is 10. Now tell me with respect to newly added EF, what are the edges I can add? What are the edges I can add?
FC.
FC. FC is how much? It is 5, right? Then any other edge with respect to F? FE. FE is there. EF is there, right? FD. FD is there. DF or FD? Yeah. FD is also we can add. FD is 9. Any other edge with respect to F now? F, that's all, right? Now again, you have to carefully list out. That's nothing great in this. And in this again, you pick the minimum. What is the minimum one?
FC.
FC, right? So you pick the minimum FC, take that. It is 5. Now our list is increased further. Now it is A, E, B, F, C also. Now list out the edges corresponding to these 5 vertices. Okay. Again, it is same. AD 7, EB 6, EF 8, ED 11. Then FC is done. FD is 9. And with respect to C, we can we add any other edges? With respect to C, CD 2, right? CD is 2. Okay. And any other edge? CB is already there. CB is there? No. CB is not there, but you can list out if you want. CB is 10. And so on. Okay. Now you add the minimum. The minimum is CD. Even if I miss one edge, please list out all the edges. And in that, you have to pick the minimum. The minimum is CD. Add this. Okay. Now with this, we added the required number of edges. Okay. If n vertices are there, then we need to add n-1 edges. This procedure we need to continue for n-1. Okay. And this is the minimal cost spanning tree by applying Prim's algorithm. And if you observe carefully, both are same. Morning we discussed with the Kruskal's, we got the same. And from the Prim's also we got the same. Okay. And what is the cost? The cost will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. It is 15. Okay. Now tell me, what is the difference you observed between Kruskal's algorithm and the Prim's algorithm? Cost wise, everything we got same. Almost all for the you apply any algorithm on any problem you apply both, you get the same answer, more or less. Okay, I already told you. Page number 492, question number 13. We have ABCDF. Okay, this is one of the exercise question. So you can try later. You can apply both Prim's algorithm as well as the Kruskal's algorithm. But what is the difference you observed? Anybody? Any difference you observed? Anybody? Say something, right or
More
wrong.
steps are required.
Okay. Now, steps wise, if you see, ultimately, let's say in this example, we need to add 5 edges here. Even the Kruskal's also we need to add 5. But only thing is that earlier method is looking quite simple. Why? Because we just starting and keep on add. Okay, smallest one, then next smallest one, and so on until it does not form a cycle. But here we are following intentionally. We are following a procedure. What is that? Initially, we started with a comma e, which is the minimum edge. Then we have taken edges corresponding to a comma e only. Then b has come into the picture. Then we have taken the edges corresponding to the vertices a, e, b. Then f has come into the picture, and so on. Okay, so if you minutely observe, there is one important feature in the Prim's algorithm when compared to Kruskal's. Now, Kruskal's, tell me what is the first edge we added, if you can recollect. What is the first edge we added for the Kruskal's? What is the first edge we added for the Kruskal's?
The minimum edge.
That is 1, right? Next minimum edge, what we added?
We added 2. DC.
See, AE is here and DC is here. So when you see, there is no connectivity from first edge to the second edge. Okay, you please observe carefully. Okay, but whereas the Prim's algorithm, what it will ensure you is at any time, the graph will be connected. So first I added this, then I added this, then I added this. So at any stage, the graph is maintains the connectedness. So that is the only difference between the Prim's and the Kruskal's. So normally this kind of thing, Prim's algorithm, where we use is in real-time applications. Let us say when people started constructing ORR in Hyderabad, okay, so they started some place at some corner, some piece they started. Let's say maybe this bit they started initially. Then in the second phase, maybe if you observe carefully, it is in continuation. Okay, so from here again they did this like this. Okay, maybe from here again they did like this. That means at any time they maintain the connectedness, so that people from here, let's say this is not done, assume at some stage. Okay, of course now everything is completed, but ORR, if you can observe, if you can maybe recollect, it's not done overnight, right? It is constructed over years. So at any time, let's say if this part is not done, at least this part can be used by the people continuously. Okay, so the main difference between so this disturbing me a lot in between you are joining and leaving. So the difference between Kruskal's algorithm and Prim's algorithm is, in Prim's algorithm, the connectedness of the graph, is maintained at each stage, whereas connectedness may not be maintained where maintained in which algorithm? Kruskal's algorithm. Okay, so this is the main important difference between the Kruskal's and the Prim's algorithm. Otherwise, both almost all gives the same values to you. Okay. So this is about all about one important topic in your unit 5, that is spanning trees. Okay, let me quickly review. This is you definitely get a question from the unit 5. Okay, it will be a surprise if you don't get a question from spanning trees. Okay, so we are started discussing the spanning trees. Let me quickly review. What is a spanning tree? It is a subgraph of a given graph, which is a tree and contains all the vertices. And for the spanning tree, we have 4 algorithms: BFS, DFS, then Kruskal algorithm and the Prim's algorithm. Okay, the Kruskal and Prim's algorithm for the weighted graph, and BFS, DFS for the unweighted graphs. Okay, so this is one important area. Then we will discuss one more topic, one of the important topic. Maybe I already told you tomorrow I'll take 2 hours with that to be close. Okay. We'll discuss next topic, that is planar graphs. This is also one of the interesting topic. Planar graphs. Okay. So which graph is said to be a planar graph? A graph is said to be planar graph if we can draw the graph without crossovering of edges. Without crossovering of edges. Okay, then it is called as a planar. For example, if you take this graph, is it planar graph? Is it planar?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it planar graph or not? Yes. Why? Because see, there is no crossovering. There is no crossovering, right? So it's a planar graph. But what about this? What about this? Is it a planar graph? Is it planar?
No, sir.
No, it seems to be not planar, but it is. This is also planar. So please understand the definition. We can draw a graph. If we can you? The point here is, of course, I have drawn something like this, but can you draw the same graph without cross-overing of edges? Is it possible? The question is, can you draw this graph without cross-overing of edges? That is the point.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. This graph can be drawn.
Okay. Yeah. So therefore, even this graph is also planar graph. Maybe this B and D, I can connect something like this. Oh, it's a planar. Okay. So planar graph means what? It is a graph. Okay. And if you can draw the graph without cross-overing of edges, you should try. Okay. In all aspects, and if you can draw that without cross-overing of edges, then we can call that as a planar graph. Got my point? So basically, there are a few types of graphs. Okay, and we'll see whether each type is a planar or not. We discussed, in fact, complete graph in the second unit. Complete graph. Have anybody recollect? Complete graph, KN. What is complete graph, KN? What is complete graph? Each vertex is adjacent to each other vertex. Am I right? Each vertex is adjacent to each other vertex. Now suppose we take K3, so this is K3. 3 vertices, each vertex is adjacent to each other vertex. K4, this is K4, 4 vertices where each vertex is adjacent to each other vertex. Now, tell me whether K5 is planar or not. Verify, just try and tell me now, right now, immediately. So take 5 vertices. Now each vertex must be adjacent to each other vertex. So can you draw that graph without cross-overing of edges? Try this. Each vertex must be adjacent to each other vertex. You know what is K5? Already we discussed complete graphs. When you discussed about the maximum compatibility blocks, we discussed about the complete graph. Now tell me whether K5, or let me draw that. But you have to tell me whether, can you draw the same graph without crossover? This is K5. The point here is it planar or not? Can you draw the same graph without crossovering of edges? Similarly, K6. So there are 6 vertices. 6 vertices where each vertex is adjacent to each other vertex. Now tell me, out of this, anyhow, this is planar, this is planar. Tell me whether K5 is planar or not. Say yes or no. Can you draw this graph without crossovering of edges? Anyone? Is it planar or not? Simple puzzle. You people not all trying it. Sitting your houses.
No, sir. K5 cannot be
Yeah.
planar because
K5, you just try. K5 is not planar. Okay. And of course, even K6 is not planar. Okay. So all these things, it will be asked in some short answer questions also. Okay. Right. Now, there is one more type of the graph. This type also let me introduce. Yeah. Complete bipartite graph. Complete bipartite graph. So we represent this with K, Km, comma N. So in this case, bipartite means, let's for example, you take K2, 3. That means the vertices are divided into 2 groups. First group contains 2 vertices. Second group contains 3 vertices. K2, 3 means first group will be having 2. This is group 1. And this is second group. Now, a vertex in a group is adjacent to remaining all the vertices in the other group. Similarly, this vertex is also adjacent to remaining all. So this is K23. Okay. For example, K33. How K33? First group contains 3 vertices. And the second group also contains 3 vertices. Now this vertex must be adjacent to remaining vertices in the second group. Second vertex also must be adjacent to remaining 3. The third one also must be adjacent to remaining 3. Hope you understand how you draw. Let's say K4, 2. That means the first group contains 4 vertices. Second group contains 2 vertices. Now this is adjacent to the 2 in the second group. The second one is also adjacent to the 2. Third also adjacent to 2. So this is K42. We call them as complete bipartite graph 4, 2. Now tell me, out of this, which one is planar? Which one is planar? None of them are planar or all are planar?
K23 is planar, sir.
K?
K23.
Okay. K23 is planar. Then that's all?
Yes, sir.
What about K42? See, K23, as you said rightly, is a planar. Why? Because I can draw this graph without cross-overing of edges also. Okay. Right? Then this I can add like this also. So therefore, K23 is planar. And this is not planar. You can try. This is not planar. And again, this is planar. How this is planar? Let me draw this. 4 vertices and 2 vertices here. So you can add something like this, right? And then maybe this vertex. Okay. Then similarly, we can draw like this internally. We can connect like this. Okay, now this also we can, without cross-overing, you can take and you can add like this. Okay, and please make a note, K42 is same as K24. These two are isomorphic. They are equal. Okay. So maybe if you want, I'll draw a fresh one. If you are not convincing with the 4, 2, let me draw 4, 2 neatly. 4, 2, right? So this is K42. You can cross check. Okay. So K42 is planar. Okay. So in general, a complete bipartite graph K m comma n is planar if either n is less than or equal to 2 or m is less than or equal to 2. Okay, in this, at least 1 is less than or equal to 2, then it is a planar. Okay, but whereas K33 is not planar, you cannot draw that graph without cross-overing of edges. Up to this clear? Anybody any doubt? Anybody any doubt? Okay. Then with respect to this planarity of the graphs. Now onwards we'll discuss only the planar graphs. We have one important topic called Euler's formula. Okay. Euler's formula, we have one important topic. Then we have another topic called finding dual of the graph. Okay. So these two topics Maybe tomorrow morning we'll discuss. Euler's formula and a dual of the graph. Maybe tomorrow night we'll discuss coloring of a graph. So these three are important. Maybe with that we can close. If you need one class, maybe Sunday 1 hour I'll take and I'll close syllabus. Okay. Anybody any doubt? Any doubt as of now?